make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. The hypocrisy of racism. So, we're gonna have to have this discussion. Somebody will say anti-blackness, right? I saw the news story about Florida Governor DeSantis making sure that Asian history is taught in school, and he's the same governor that didn't want black history taught in school, right? And people made up the CRT thing, and I saw a clip of an Asian lady like, this is a setup, But I thought about it, part of me was like, everybody knows the hypocrisy, or they don't know the hypocrisy. Because everybody's sitting there, like a lot of times as a black man, people point at me as a black man and black people as a problem for everything. And it doesn't make sense. And why it's hypocritical is because when you put all these groups together and apart, we're, for some odd reason, they're a common enemy, right? So white people, we're their enemy. We have no idea. But that's pretty much the enemy thing. They were the aggressors. They started all this stuff. But somehow, they don't see themselves as, black people don't like us. Yeah, I mean, you're not likable. History has shown you're not likable. But the interesting thing about white people is when you enter the equation with Asians, Hispanics, Muslims, who else would I be? Who else am I missing? And pretty much any ethnicity or region. Sometimes even Native American to a degree. They're all unified, and for a black person, it's crazy. So let me get this right. If you're Asian, you have an issue with black people, but white people have basically came to your countries, colonized your countries, bombed your countries, went to war with your countries, sabotaged your countries, used you for, sweatshops and cheap labor, and that's pretty much what white people have done to you. But somehow it's black people's fault. So you give a white people. So, if you have a daughter, because there was an Indian lady talking about that too. I think it was on African Diaspora channel, where Indian lady was talking about how, she got the family kind of just basically threw her away, excommunicado by her family because she's with a black man. What the irony of it is, if she was with a white man, wouldn't have this problem. So it's like even India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. The reason why it's separated is because white people came in and separated it and made you, divide and conquer. But you'll let your daughter marry a white guy because it helps, because it makes sense. You'll let a white, your son marry a white woman because it helps. It's like, and you can come together and say, we both hate you blacks. And it's like, okay, all right. Hispanics, Central, South America, the Caribbean, they have their quote unquote anti-blackness or whatever. And it's interesting because, you're not European, but some of you too many claim whiteness is, we're white. Your birth certificate does say white, so I get it. But if you go to Spain, they don't claim you. You're just a population of people that they conquered, the conquistadors. So basically, people could come to your country, shoot you, kill you, steal all your resources, quote unquote, rape your women, have all these quote unquote mixed kids, and all of a sudden, hey, we're family, and guess what? We don't like you blacks. And I'm not saying we're looking for y'all love. That's not what it is. It's just it for us it comes off as it's irrational. You get what I'm saying? It's like, because if I did this to you, you would hate me. But you mean to tell me when they do that to you, you love them? Like, it doesn't make sense. Because People think about us and slavery and Jim Crow and racist America, and we're like, nah, I don't trust you, I don't like you, you on that side, I'm on this side, and all these other groups have this, wow, you don't love the people who've done you wrong. It's like, no, I don't. I don't know how you do. Like I can't see it, And then we have these stereotypes, the blacks are criminals, and it's like, okay, the Hispanics, that's the drug cartels. The Italians, that's the gangsters, you know. The Irish and the Jews were the people who were dirty on one end and clean on the other. So they like I don't understand. Asians, that's your triads and your yakuza, your mafia that everybody's so cool with. That's who's bringing the fentanyl into America. But it's our black folk. It's like, okay, all right, all right. I can even use the same argument with part of the issue, I guess, with us as Black Americans and blacks from Africa or even Caribbean. It's like you stay away from the blacks in America, they're crazy, and it's like or they're beneath us, and you're looking like, wait a minute. If you're in the Caribbean, you like the Queen, like you like England, like yes, England, yeah. It's like they're the people who they enslaved y'all, did y'all dirty, and y'all got. We're the problem. It doesn't make sense, when it comes to Africa, or it's like, okay, you blacks have a hard issue, and I've heard less and less of that over the years in America. I shall be fair enough to say that, but it still exists, but it's like, man, but Asians are in your country stealing from you. White people have been in the continent, just raping and pillaging and taking all the resources. What did we actually do to you again? But it's like, hey man, y'all beneath us, y'all Lakota, y'all da 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 da. You don't know your culture, and it's like, okay, we hate, and it's like y'all in this too, just irrational. And the reason why I got to bring this up is because part of what it ultimately comes off as is, it's like if this is your white mind, immorality counts. Immorality is smart. Unethical behavior is great. Being dishonest is great. Being a criminal is great. Being a sociopath is great. But my biggest fear is if you black people were to do it. And you're the enemy because I don't want you to do that. What I think is great, but when white people do it, it's great. But if you did it, it's evil. Matter of fact, if you responded to us doing this to you, it's evil. But on this side, it's the Darwinism. Let the survival of the fittest. Let the strong survive. And then this side is, oh no, 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 no. That's survival of the fittest. No, no, no. That strong survive stuff. No, 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 no. Not you. On this side, mediocrity can be great as long as racism's involved. On this side, greatness got to be looked at as mediocrity because racism was beat doing it. And it's like, it's irrational. It's very irrational. So when you see people like black people like, you know what, I'm over here, you stay over there, that's really the bulk of what it is. Because a lot of the stuff that you think makes sense. Like, let's just use regular stuff, like just in your fantasy land. If John Wick was black, he would be the most evil villain has ever lived in movies. You get what I'm saying? If Superman was black, he'd have to pay for all the buildings he destroyed. If Batman was black, he'd be sued for every penny he's ever made. Like, it's just James Bond can't be black because it's like, no. Then he's a criminal murderer. It changes just like that. And that looks irrational. The Bible would talk about, and I meant to say Muslims too. It's the same thing. Muslims, you abid or whatever, you slave, blah, blah, blah. You don't have a religion, you're this, that, and the third. And white people could come there, be Christians and be Jewish and do all kinds of stuff to y'all. Like, hey, you're my brothers in God. It's like, what? Feel like the minions, huh? But as long as we don't like the blacks together, we're good. It's like, okay, I hear you. It's crazy. It's crazy. And on top of that, when this whole thing happens, white people screw these other groups over when we're not involved to their faces and behind their backs, and they just sit there like, well, we're just gonna blame the blacks. We're gonna act like that never happened. And for us, it's irrational. Now I'm done. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Tell me what you think. Peace.